Hello everybody, my name is Hyujin and today guys, actually, I want to talk about one specific topic that really triggers me a lot recently and I think I know why. Lately, especially in the last 4 or even 5 years, there's been this topic that gets dragged a lot in the media, especially online. So, it's about superheroes movies, like how they are actually dying in quotes because they are gaining a low box office, they have a big budget and they are not making enough money to beat it and things like that. So what I want to say by this video is that I don't agree with that statement, and it really gets annoying because nowadays in 2025 even, it became cool to trash these superhero movies, Marvel, DC, etc, etc. I don't see any sense in it, even though sometimes I agree with a lot of takes. But when people are taking it to the extremes, like hating every bit of a movie, it's becoming so tiring and it loses the main point. It loses the main checkmark that had to say why that movie was bad in someone's view. And the reason why I disagree with those kind of statements is because I watch a lot of this kind of movies, right? I'm a geek. I'm a big fan of superheroes and movies like that. I watch a lot of movies. I watch thrillers, horrors, sci-fi, everything you could name of. I watch it. I'm a consumer, right? I'm just a human being who loves watching great, good quality movies. And yeah, sometimes this kind of a big companies like Marvel, Disney, DC, they are putting out some trashy movies, yeah. I mean, sometimes it can be mid, sometimes it can really even be bad, yeah. But overhating it by ruining everyone else's experience, it really triggers me. It's becoming so sad. Like sometimes it's really hard to enjoy movies without getting triggered by a lot of these noisy critics, a lot of these noisy bloggers, YouTubers that are trashing every video, showing how much flaws they have and something like that. And I'm not saying that it's bad. A lot of times it's fair. But we are really forgetting the reason why we are watching these movies. We are watching them just to enjoy. We are watching them to have a great time. Then why we have to ruin other people's experiences by trashing movies that we've watched, not paying enough attention, maybe even skimming to them, like to the music. It's not fair. Let some people have fun with what they love and what they want to see in the movies. I'm not trying to be negative here, of course. I'm all about being positive and sharing only positive energy, yeah. So I think I won't over exaggerate this topic and I will let y'all decide by yourselves. And accidentally today, while scrolling YouTube, I've noticed this video by Penguins Zero. Are Marvel movies actually dying? So let's see what he's talking about, and maybe I will realize that I'm wrong. Because I do respect Charlie. I watched a lot of his videos and I think he always has that kind of a fresh view to something like this without being too dramatic or something like that. So yeah, we'll see.
But you know what else is bleeding? Marvel at the box office. Now, this is a conversation in cinema that happens more frequently than people debating whether or not Sam and Frodo were gay.
Exactly.
So many people since the end of Endgame have talked about how Marvel is dead and dying, and that superhero fatigue had finally reached its molten core where everyone was done with MCU and how bad the quality was. But despite all of that hoopla, pretty much all of the MCU projects did decently well for the most part. Like even unanimously hated stinkers like Ant-Man Quantumania still generated like $500 million. But the quality...
About Quantumania, I think that movie was overhated too, because I was watching it in the cinema. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of flaws, but I've noticed some great moments too. Like I really enjoyed that movie. I wasn't regretting paying money by watching that movie actually. Y'all can say whatever you want. Yeah, maybe I'm mediocre at my tastes. Yeah, y'all can say whatever you want. Y'all can say whatever you want. Y'all can type negative comments, of course, but I am who I am. I enjoy what I enjoy and I have my own feelings and I really loving them.
Did significantly decline, and a lot of people were getting tired of it, and some of them did actually not do well, like the Marvels. But on the whole, the MCU was still fine in the box office, but it was showing signs of weakness. Now, they've released two decent movies back to back, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Agree.
But they're not exactly doing the billion-dollar nut busting that the MCU was known for. Fantastic Four is experiencing a 80% drop from its debut, so going into its second week here, it has declined significantly. It had a great start, and it had incredibly strong word of mouth, but it doesn't seem like that's translating to asses in seats. And Thunderbolts was the same thing. People saw it, they were surprised by how good it was, saying, Marvel's fucking back, baby, fuckle your seatbelts, because we are in it again. But then that also didn't have the strongest box office run, which is now leading to the bigger conversation that's been had a lot about the state of the MCU. Are people just tired of it? Is superhero fatigue really setting in now, finally? Or is it mainly just Marvel? Because Superman has done great in the box office. It has been fucking slapping in the box office. And it's a good movie. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are also good movies, especially in a sea of dog shit that Marvel had been farting out for quite a few years, with a few exceptions like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And now it's left a lot of people wondering, well, what the fuck's going on? Why are they not having strong box office performances when these are finally some decent films from Marvel again? And to be fair, I think it's a little overblown with Fantastic Four flopping and all of that with that narrative that's being spun. It's still...
Exactly. That's the main point for me too. A lot of people online are noticing only flopping, even though it's not even considered as a flop because the start was great. It gained a lot of money, of course. It had a lot of great reviews online, and people still, as always in the internet, are trying to find something negative about it to make it a headline.
Still at $370 million worldwide in its second weekend. That is still pretty solid, but against its budget and its marketing, it still needs to make like $450 million or something from the reports I read. Same with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts generated $380 million total across its lifespan in theaters, and it needed about $450 million for that break even. So like it still does have a little ways to go,
sucks,
but
yeah.
It's not doing like dreadfully. Like I don't think all the Marvel execs are in full force panic mode, sweating, contemplating, sitting on a cactus or something, like worried that it's all dried up and Marvel's dead. But it is less than you would expect for some actually good Marvel movies. It's an interesting topic because, again, this is a conversation that's been had a lot, but I had always just said, yeah, the films have gotten worse, but there's always going to be an audience for it. They're always going to make like over $500 million. Turns out that is not the case. These are better movies than the ones that were coming before it and performing much better, but it really does seem like people are checking out. A lot of people are starting to view the MCU kind of like homework, that you have to do like prerequisite reading and watching the shows beforehand and catch up on like 5 and 6 movies just to be able to go watch one of the films and understand or appreciate it. So a lot of people found that to be kind of tedious. And also I think
it's so strange because you don't have to do that actually. You don't have to read every comic book to enjoy the movie. I don't do that either. Like, I'm a big fan of comic books, of course. I've read a lot of them, but still, nowadays, I'm not trying to catch up on everything and read everything. It's still fine for me to watch a movie for the first time without knowing anything about it, without knowing any background, something like that. So I would say it's really bad choice to do it like that before going to a movie. There's no reason. And especially in 2025, because a lot of movies nowadays are made for basic consumers, like for those who are watching it for the first time. You don't have to know anything. New movies are explaining. Sometimes they even over-explaining everything to make sure that people are understanding everything. It's like, what do you call it? TikTokification of new modern society, right? Like short clip memory, something like that, even though I don't agree with that kind of a thing too. So I would say, yeah, it's really toxic point of view to go and watch a movie like that.
a lot of people were just tired of MCU in general because they would release like 4 films a year, all of which were mediocre at best. And now they've finally got 2 like pretty strong films, but a lot of people just don't really care about the word of mouth. They're just kind of done with it, it seems. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to blame them. I can totally see why. With so many superhero movies coming out and a lot of them in the last 5 or so years being really underwhelming, why would you keep getting excited and seeing every single new one? You know what I mean? Even the one.
Agree, but at the same time, for 50%, it means that you're not the target audience, of course. But if you feel that way, I don't blame you, because it's totally fair to be tired of something, but to blasphemously scream about it that you hate that movie from every corner, it's really annoying too. So don't be that negative and toxic, and just don't talk about it if you don't enjoy the movie. Please do not ruin the experience of those who are really loving this comic book series. Actually, let me be brutally honest, like, the reason why, for example, me, I love going to those kind of movies is because I'm a big fan of the superheroes. Wow, what a reveal, right? But still, I feel a lot of strong emotions while watching superhero movies. They are teaching about a lot of good stuff: being leader, showing responsibility, appreciating love, having strength to conquer all of your demons, right? And it really correlates inside of me, even though I'm a little bit grown up maybe, but still it correlates with me. And I think even if I will be 50, I will still enjoy these movies. I will rewatch a lot of movies, and it doesn't say that I'm stupid, right? I just love the themes, the topics that are talked about in those movies. It's kind of really touchy theme for me, because I'm getting actually a little bit emotional while talking about it, because sometimes some movies, let me even give you an example. The last one I watched with strong emotions was No Way Home, probably third Spider-Man movie from Marvel, from MCU. I ugly cried by the end of that movie, and I watched that movie 4 times in the cinema, or maybe 3. But overall, yeah, I was so much in love with that movie that I was crying out loud while watching it. It was so painful, and it was so beautiful, because it's a really big part of my life. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero even. So that's why I think I felt strong connection, and seeing that movie, of course I won't spoil it if someone hasn't watched it, seeing the end scenes, seeing the final battles, it was so touching and sweet and sour at the same time. I cannot even explain that feeling. Like, it was so beautiful. Of course, a lot of people will still point out flaws of that movie, I know, but I don't care. If movie is good, it's good. It don't have to be super great VFX to make me love movie. Sometimes it can be even trashy. If the story is great, if the whole plot is great, if the characters are interesting and you can relate to them, you will enjoy the movie overall still.
Ones that do get a lot of hype and glaze, it's hard to just want to go see that, because then you still have to wonder, will I even understand it, because I didn't watch the last couple and I didn't watch any of the shows. And in Thunderbolts' case and Fantastic Four's case, you don't need to. You can go in them and entirely enjoy them by their own merit. They stand on their own 2 legs, especially Fantastic Four. It is all self-contained. So it sucks to see that it's not doing well, but it's not like I blame the general audience for not going and seeing it. There has been way too many underwhelming superhero films for them to just blindly trust that this is finally a good one, right? But yeah. I don't think it's like superheroes in general, because Superman is proving that there is still a huge appetite for superhero movies. I think it's just Marvel has been so sullied by their bad movies over the last few years that people are just kind of yawning at it. Which puts Marvel in a weird spot, because they finally had this come to Jesus moment and said, what if we made good movies? And then they fucking hoisted up the guy who suggested that like some kind of hero, you know? Like the big eureka moment. How about some good films? But they're not performing that well in the box office. So like it sucks to see that. And it's weird because now they do finally understand that they need to have quality films in order to stay competitive and stay generating unfathomable amounts of money, but the general audience has kind of turned their backs on them and don't really care to hop back into the Marvel train. So they have some good films, but now the audience isn't, ferociously starving to consume it anymore. But they still have, of course, like the core community of like Marvel enthusiasts that are going to see every film they put out regardless. It's just now they're having a harder time reaching beyond that scope, even with extremely positive word of mouth. It definitely is a weird predicament for them to be in. I feel like they waited too long to finally start realizing we gotta try again. They can't just coast to $1 billion every time. And I think the path going forward for Marvel isn't to like I don't know, fall back into old ways or something and make like really uninteresting, boring super slop, but instead continue with this focus of making things that are actually interesting and good, like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, but find a way to do it without the extraordinarily bloated budget. They are not.
This one. Yeah, I think I agree. Nowadays, a lot of budget is wasted on these movies. It's not necessary. People, the studios are paying too much money for the main actors. And I'm not saying it's bad, of course. Some actors are great, but still, it's too much. And of course, that's why it's a little bit difficult to gain money back by launching it in the cinemas. So I see that it's so true, yeah. And the reason why I'm saying this is that there are a lot of movies that has so little budget and still they are so great and they are making enormous amount of money in the box office. It doesn't mean that the studios have to waste tons of budget to make the movie great. The money does not always solve everything. The closest example that I can think of is Terrifier. Box office of that movie was enormous, and I do remember that it broke, I think, a lot of records, and the movies were great. It didn't have a lot of budget. I mean, the first two, probably, maybe the third one was a little bit bigger, yeah, of course, but still, every time it was successful. Even though I think it's not fair to compare two different genres, but still, I think it's fine to give this one as an example.
Not going to be making as much money as they used to. They're going to need to find a way to deliver quality productions for a fraction of the cost. They can't just mindlessly dump hundreds of millions of dollars into every single Marvel everything these days. That time is behind us now. That is in the past. I think they need to start analyzing their budgets a little tighter and figuring out ways of being creative with it so they can deliver these same kind of movies that are strong but without eating a loss on them. Like Thunderbolts, that's a film that probably didn't need $450 million box office run to break even. You probably could have delivered that same level of film for less money, so that way the 380 that it did generate could have already been at your break even. Like, I feel like there's definitely ways, like I think these budgets are super
agree.
overblown, which isn't specific, like exclusive to just Marvel. It's Hollywood in general. Like that fucking Netflix stinker Electric State had a, 300?
Actually, this is funny. I know that Chris Pratt in this, and I haven't seen this movie, but a lot of people are saying that it's bad. But to be honest, it does look like it kind of sucks, but still, I will give it a chance. Y'all can watch this when you're eating your dinner, right? And it won't ruin your day. Like, it's a mid movie, I think, and it's sort of fine.
$1 million budget or something.
But the budget is insane, actually.
Abominable. Like, it really feels like there's some kind of fraudulent bookkeeping going on over there, some kind of fucking scam, but that's a topic I've already yapped about a lot. Point is, for Marvel now, they probably realize that the audience isn't just going to blindly eat everything that they feed them. They need to keep delivering good movies, but they need to find a way to make them for less money, so that way the box office runs don't need to be colossal, historic, record-breaking performances in order to generate any level of profit. Though, admittedly, I think there's a chance Marvel learns the opposite lesson, that people don't want good movies. Like, they'll turn to Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and be like, well, we tried a quality approach. That didn't work. Let's go back.
Actually, this is so interesting too, because I thought the same thing. Like, it's really scary, and I hope this is not the case at all, because that would really suck. But I hope that in Marvel Studios and maybe in Disney, even though I don't believe in that, we have some not stupid people driving this boat, right? So I'm just hoping for the better. But it really can show them that, yeah, even if you put out good quality, people won't go in and not watch it instantly. So that's a little bit scary too, but I hope it's not true.
Back to quantity. That would be a real shame, but I think there is a chance. Like, these zombies in suits, they could very well look at these box offices and be like, this was a failure. This experiment didn't work. That guy that we hoisted up about, like, what if we made good movies? Time to fire him. Fucking throw him out that window. That was a terrible idea. We lost money on it. We're going to go back to quantity and just really generic, safe, boring slop. That's what the people want, clearly. I'd hate to see that, but I think there is a chance. I can only hope they don't go that direction. Mm-hmm. But anyway, though, I wanted to just talk about this a bit. I found it interesting to see Marvel is no longer like the guaranteed, infinite money glitch juggernaut that it used to be. Though, of course, it is still making tons of money in the box office. It's not like it's all doom and gloom. It's just in a weird spot right now where it's not guaranteed success every time.
It's kind of not that obvious.
Anyway, that's about it. So, yeah.
I think, I said what I wanted to say, and I don't have anything to add. I completely agree with Charlie, and I'm glad that he's open-minded about this and clear with everything what he said. And we just have to hope and wait for the greatness to come. Kevin Feige, if you're watching this. I'm joking. And the last thing I want to say is that don't be a negative and toxic human being online. Please pay respect, and if you don't like something, just don't talk about it. Move on. Talk about the things that you love. That will make our online environment a little bit better place, and people will be a little bit more happy, right? Let's make this world a better place together.